नमामि शंकराचार्य गुरुपाद सरोरुहं यस्य प्रसादान् मौढोऽपि सर्वज्ञोऽहं सदा भवं कामाक्षी करुणारूपं कामकोटि जगद्गुरुं चिन्मूर्तिं कलये चित्ते शंकराचार्यमुक्तिदम् वेद वेदांत साम्राज्य धर्म कामार्थ मोक्षदं विद्यारण्यं उपपुण्यं जो विद्यारण्यमच्छिनत् सदाशिव श्री ब्रह्मेन्द्र धृतस्वपद पादिकान् धीरां परशिवेन्द्रार्यान् ध्यायामि सततं हृदि अपार करुणा सिंधु ध्यानदं शांतरूपिणं श्री चंद्रशेखर गुरुं नमामि मुदान्वहम् देवे देहे च देशे च भक्त्यारोग्य सुखप्रदं बुधपावन सेव्यन्तं श्री जयेन्द्रं नमाम्यां नमामि शंकरान्वाख्यो जयेन्द्र सरस्वती श्री गुरु शिष्टमार्गारुणेकानं सम्मतिकृतं सदाशिवसमारम्भां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Starting on this sacred year of Srimad Shankara Bhagavatpāda's 2500th Aradhana and the auspicious occasion of Ashadha Shukla Ekadashi Budhanuradha Punyakala, on which our Sri Kanchi Kamakoti Mulamnaya Sarvatya Pithadviti Jagadguru Shri Shankara Vijayam Saraswati Shankaracharya Swamigal completed his Rameshwara Tirtha Yatra with the prarthana of doing Anusandhana of all the original Shankara Vijaya texts. We have started this prayatana, and in that line we are now examining the Anandagiriya Shankara Vijaya, and today is the 6th session. So far, Srimad Shankara Bhagavatpāda is still in Brahmashri Ashrama. Having completed his Vidyabhyasa, he goes to his village and he stays there with his mother, performing Shushrusha to her, Seva to her, and with the permission of his Vidya Guru, he is teaching many people Advaita Vedanta, and he is giving even enlightenment to a lot of them. So the story proceeds from there. Evam aneka prakarena bahun shishyan dhanyan krutva. Thus, the Acharya has given the bhagyam to so many shishyas, disciples. And Ashtame Varshe Prapte, when he attained the age of 8, Vizagrama Samipa Vahinyam Nadyam, the river near his village, which is known as Purna in Kerala today, Graha Vashat Sanyasya. So it is said that he took sannyasa because a crocodile caught his leg. But that is not a real reason for sannyasa. It is only the vyaja that Acharya used to get the permission of his mother, because the mother, she knows that this child will not be living too many years, as Swami had said already in the dream. But Bhagavatpāda doesn't show that he is that very same Swami, and he knows that this is what has been told her. But nevertheless, he convinces his mother, saying that taking sannyasa is like another janma. So this apat will leave him. And the mother gives him permission for sannyasa. And of course, the story is not too detailed here. In other texts, it is detailed how Acharya went to Snana and crocodile grabbed his leg and so on. But here the mother gives sannyasa permission, and based on that, the Acharya the crocodile releases his leg. And after that, the procedure is that if somebody takes apat sannyasa, and the apat is automatically resolved, in the sense that it doesn't, apat sannyasa doesn't mean it is a procedure for the purpose of resolving the emergency situation. It is a purpose in which somebody wants to take sannyasa but does not have the time to go through the proper procedure. So it is the permission for that. It doesn't mean that the person will immediately be relieved of that apat, but it sometimes does happen that those people are relieved of the difficulty. Such stories are there, but the purpose of apat sannyasa is to, in such emergency situations only, to take sannyasa without having to go through the entire procedure. But if supposing the situation is resolved by itself, then the person is obliged to go and take proper krama sannyasa. So from there he leaves his village of Karati, and he goes to Govinda Yogendra Sadupadeshat Paramahamsa Ashrama Swekaran Kritavantaha Srimad Shankara Bhagavatpāda Acharya Sarvajnaha. So here a lot of words are very intentionally used by Anandagiri Acharya, it seems. So he calls him Sarvajna. He is already Parameshwara Avatara, but nevertheless, he goes to a guru. So he is called Srimad Shankara Bhagavatpāda, Acharya, and Sarvajna. So many words are used to describe the Acharya. So Sarvajna, yes, but he is also Acharya. So the Lakshana is that Ajinojita Yash Shastram Acharya Sthapajatyapi Swayamacharati Shrestha Tasmad Acharya Uchate. Even though you are Sakshat Parameshwara Avatara, the procedure is that you have to take Upadesha from a guru, and only then you get the qualification. So Bhagavatpāda, though he was Shivavatara, he goes and properly takes sannyasa from a guru because he is an acharya. He has to perform the achara by himself and show to others, be an example to others. Then here the Granthakara, the Anandagiri Acharya, takes up a Shastric question as to how, when there are 4 ashramas, Brahmacharya, Grihastha-ashrama, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa, isn't it necessary to go one by one? How is it permissible to go directly from Brahmacharya ashrama to Sannyasa ashrama? And even in Sannyasa ashrama, there are 4 kinds as per the Shastras: Kutijaka, Bahudaka, Hamsa, and Paramahamsa. And how can he directly go to Paramahamsa ashrama without going through the interim stages? Then the answer, the Granthakarta gives the answer himself. He says, Brahmacharya ashrameshu yatra viragaha utpannaha tatra tadashramadeva pravrajanam yuktam. So Vairagya is the important factor here. If a person attains that extreme Vairagya, even Brahmacharya ashrama itself or any other ashrama, it is permitted to directly go to Sannyasa ashrama. And even in Sannyasa ashrama, the various stages or the various kinds of Sannyasa ashrama which are mentioned are as per the ability of the individual to follow the restrictions. So it is as per the person's capability. They can either take up Kutijaka ashrama, Kutijaka sannyasa, or Bahudaka sannyasa, and the restrictions are more and more as you go higher up. So in Paramahamsa sannyasa ashrama, it has the greatest number of restrictions. So whoever is able to take up to perform to that level, it is not anything wrong against the others, though who are not able to directly go to that level. The lesser ashramas are there for the purpose, especially for those who are not able to immediately attain that high level of vairagya, whether it is Grihastha ashrama or Vanaprastha ashrama or even the other simpler or less restrictive forms of sannyasa. So, Bijagadyashramana Paramahamsashramadhikari Vishayatva Bhavat Bhagavatbhihi Purna Brahma Santana Vichakshanihi. So, again, Anandagiri Acharya times his the bhakti pravaha towards his guru comes out into these words. So, he says that Kutijaka, the lesser forms of sannyasa are for those who are able to not able to go to the direct Paramahamsa sannyasa. So he is, but this Bhagavatpāda, he is Bhagavan himself. And is there any objection that he is Purna Brahma Anusandhana Vichakshana? That he is not able, whether is there any absolute, doubt that he might not be able to do Anusandhana of that Parabrahman? He is himself the Parabrahman, he is the Jnana Swarupa. Veda Gandha Rahita Antahkaranihi. He is Antahkarana, his mind, he is devoid of even the least bit of the Veda Vasana, which forces one to see the world as different from his self. And Sarvagya, he is himself the Sarvagya, omniscient. Paramahamsa ashrama eva angikrita iti nairavadhyam. So there is absolutely, there can be no objection that Bhagavatpāda directly went up to Paramahamsa sannyasa ashrama. Anandagiri Grato Shankara Vijayam Advaita Swarupa Kathanam Nama Prakaranam Tridiyam. So thus ends the third prakarana of this Shankara Vijaya, and then the next 4th prakarana starts. Dverupe Vasudevasya Charancha Acharameva Charam Sanyasinam Rupam Acharam Pratimadikam. So this verse is quoted here. Vasudeva. The word Vasudeva refers to Paramatma. We know very well the shloka. Vasanat Vasudevasya Vasitam Bhuvanathriyam Sarvabhuta Nivasosi Vasudeva Namostude. So the Paramatma in whom all the Jivarashis or whatever is there in the world, in whom they have their Vasa, they reside, that Deva is known as Vasudeva. So that Vasudeva has two forms. It doesn't mean here it is not particularly Vasudeva is about Vishnu only or Shiva only. It is about Paramatma. And Charancha Acharamevacha. Even though the word Vasudeva is better applied, is more commonly applied to Vishnu, and the word Ishvara is more commonly applied to Shiva, but these words, as far as Vedanta Shastra is concerned, they are all referring to the Paramatma uniform. So that there are two forms of that Paramatma, Charancha, Acharamevacha. Charam Sanyasinam Rupam, the mobile form, and the immobile form. The immobile form, Acharam Pratimadikam, the Pratimas that you see in temples and other places, that is the immobile form of Paramatma, and that is another form. It is also a form of Paramatma in which he is suitable to be worshipped. And Charam Sanyasinam Rupam, the mobile form of Paramatma is that of Sannyasis. So it is to that extent that Sannyasis are respected. Iti Vachanabalat, Vasudeva Chararupa Masthaya. So Bhagavatpāda took up the Chararupa, the mobile form, that is the Sannyasa Rupa of Paramatma. Prapanchobhasyaiva Sancharan. So he was traveling in all places. He was Prapancha Upasya. He was fit to be worshipped by everybody. That was his Yogita, which was there already even before Sannyasa Ashrama. But that Sannyasa Ashrama gives a very clear, explicit Angikara as far as the ordinary people are concerned. Vyasa Sutranam Vyasa Manovarti Tatparya Prakashakam Advaita Bhashyam Kurvan. So here we need to give a small explanation. The Veda, it has two kantas. By kanta we don't mean that first kanta, second kanta which are there in the Adhyayana Sampradaya. But as per the content of the Veda, there is the first kanda, the earlier kanda is the karma kanda. Because already in the previous chapters itself, it is very clearly said that you have to perform the karma anushtanas if you are to attain Advaita Jnana. So it is not possible to directly come to Advaita Jnana. So the karma anushtanas also are instructed by the Veda only. So that part of the Veda which is teaching us the karma anushtanas, that is the karma kanda. And the other part which is teaching about the Advaita Paratatva, that is the Jnana kanda. So there are two dharmas. One is the pravritti dharma, those who are living in worldly life, and that is the pravritti dharma. The dharma for them is called pravritti dharma. And those who are totally disinterested in the worldly life and they want to attain the spiritual goal of moksha alone, for them the nivritti dharma is there. So both these dharmas are obtained from the Shruti Pramana only, the Veda Pramana only. But there are lots of doubts when we are examining the Veda Vakyas. It is not very clear to immediately determine what is the import. And for that, Jaimani Acharya has composed what is called the Purva Mimamsa Shastra. In 12 chapters, he considers the entirety of the Karma Kanda and he gives the guidelines based on which the apparent conflicts of the passages can be resolved, how the passages are to be properly interpreted. And likewise, the Uttara Mimamsa, about the Jnana Kanda, Badarayana Vyasacharya, we know that Badarayana is another name of him. And he has composed the Uttara Mimamsa, or what is commonly known as the Brahma Sutra, in 4 adhyayas. And likewise, he gives the procedures by which we can understand the Jnana Kanda, or what is known as the Vedanta, Vedasya Anta, the final part of the Vedas. Vedanta, the word Vedanta specifically refers to the Upanishads, and from there it also refers to the Siddhanta, that is the philosophy that is taught by the Upanishads. But so to examine those Veda Bhagas properly, Vyasacharya has given the Brahma Sutras. But then what happens? There are lots of people who have already commented or tried to explain the meaning of the sutras before Shankara Bhagavatpāda, and many people have done that even after Shankara Bhagavatpāda. But the thing is that, see, the problem is sutra. Sutra is intended to be very small. And the problem, because of that, what happens is that it is difficult to sometimes to completely understand what it is coming to say. See, even if you write in the form of prose or free prose rather than small sutras, or even then doubts come, and then the Vyakhyanakarta has to come and explain this is what is meant. So here, because of the short nature of the sutras, it is difficult to understand, and moreover, each person has their own preconceived understanding, so they try to see that meaning in the sutras. So it is said here that Vyasa Manovarti Tatparya Prakashakam. So Bhagavan Vyasacharya Prasannam Abhavat Veda Vyasasya Chittam. In the previous Avatara Ghatta itself, it was mentioned that Bhagavan Veda Vyasa was very happy that Shri Shankara has taken Avatara, that he will give the correct meaning of the sutras that he has that Vyasacharya has composed. So what was the intent of Vyasacharya in composing the Brahma Sutras? That the Tatparya has been explicitly brought out by Sri Shankara Bhagavatpāda by composing the Bhashya as Advaita. Advaita Bhashya one Vishwajidiva Ashtadigvartamana Nana Matavadi Vijayam Arabhamana. So again, so here there is an interesting usage here, Vishwajidiva. So the literal meaning of Vishwajit is somebody who wins over the whole world. But there can be two further additional meanings, because the word there is a Vishwajit Yiva. So here one is that the Vishwajit is actually, it is a yajna. One meaning of the word Vishwajit. So what Bhagavatpāda is going to do now, it is as sacred as a yajna, because it is a jnana yajna. Bhagavatpāda is going to spread the true import of the Vedas, Vedantas and the Vyasa Sutras. So that in that way, Bhagavatpāda Acharya is doing a Vishwajit Yaga. And another thing is that, see, Vishwajit, in which you are winning over everybody. So what is the meaning? That is the literal meaning. But what is the actual intention of saying that Bhagavatpāda was as if he was a Vishwajit? A conqueror, if an emperor is there, if he is conquering a big kingdom in the olden days, you say he conquered the whole world. The whole world refers to Bharatadesha. So an emperor, if we know all the stories when some king wanted to do Ashwamedha Yaga, he used to send the horse and go over horses, he used to conquer. So similarly, what Bhagavatpāda is going to do, because there are so many matas. In Bhagavatpāda's times, there were Dvisaptati matas which are going to be detailed in this Shankara Vijayam. But even during the times of Veda Vyasa Sutrakara, even during those times, there were various other interpretations other than Advaita of the Shrutis. They were there. Various other matas were there. And Bhagavan Veda Vyasa himself, in the second Adhyaya, second Pada of the Brahma Sutras, that is called as Tarka Pada, he has explicitly refuted the Nirakarana of such other matas. So now we have to explain what is exactly the meaning of Nirakarana. It has to be properly understood. So Bhagavatpāda, at the very outset of doing Bhashya of that particular Pada, he asks, Kimarena, Paravidveshakarena, Paranirakaranena, Paramata Nirakarana. So he asks, why are you spending time on refuting, doing Nirakarana? You're saying that somebody else's mata is not correct. If you say that, then they will get dvesha towards you. So why do you need to go? There, very clearly, Bhagavatpāda says one thing. It is not, we do not bear dvesha to anybody. This is something that the Paramaguru of Bhagavatpāda himself, Shri Gaudapada Acharya, he has composed a very detailed but a very abstruse Vyakhana. Abstruse in the sense that he is talking from the highest pinnacle of Dvaita Siddhanta. So it will be evident from what I am about to say. Gaudapada Acharya says, there are two verses from Gaudapada Karika which I want to quote. One is said that those who are following any Siddhanta other than Advaita, they are all very, very insistent on their own particular Siddhanta. Swasiddhantam vyavasthasu dvaitino nishtita dridham parasparam virudhyante tairayam navirudhyate. So whoever is other than Advaiti, they are all Dvaitis as far as this is concerned here. Because in any other Siddhanta, you will have some form of Dvaita, of Veda will be there. So all those Dvaitis, they will have that very strong insistence on their particular Siddhanta. And what will happen because of that? This person will object to that person. He will say that Siddhanta is wrong. And that Siddhanti, that he will object to this Siddhanta saying that this is wrong. So I will only give example of two particular such vadas. See, as mentioned earlier, even the Nyaya Siddhanta, Sankhya Siddhanta, all those are also Dvaita Siddhantas. Because they say they accept the duality, the difference between Jiva and Ishvara, then it is Dvaita. So what they are saying, for example, this in the Nyaya Shastra, they say, they talk about something called Asat Karyavada. The Asat Karyavada is very, very, to explain it extremely simply, it is that when an object is created, so you have mud and you are the or clay, call it clay, and from the clay you are creating a pot. So the pot is not existent prior to its creation when only clay was there. So asat karyam utpadyate. The karyam, the pot which is being created, that is karyam, and the karanam is clay. That karyam pot is non-existent prior to its birth. Is a very simplified form of this Siddhanta. And on the other side, the Sankhya-vadis, what they are saying, they say Satkaryavada. So they say that it is the clay itself which has been reformed, taken the new form of the pot. So the pot was there prior to its creation also, but in the form of clay. So I'm not going to go into the technical details of the Paraspara the denunciation of each other's Siddhanta. But what Gaudapadacharya says here, see, as if a very Laukika example I will give. I talked about a king. So if there are, let us say that there are three kings, of whom one king wants to become the Chakravarti here, but he sees that the other two people are having mutual enmity. So he keeps quiet and till the other two fellows, they destroy each other. And he says that I am the Samrat right now, so I will take care of all the Rajyas. So it's a very mundane example, but here what the Gaudapadacharya says is that Parasparam Viruddhyante, they both of them are conflicting with each other, but I really don't have conflict with either of them. Because why? Khyapyamanam ajatintaihi anumodamehe vayam vivadamo natais sartham avivadan nibodhata. Oh Shishyas, you will please understand, I do not have any vivada with either of them. Because both of them are actually supporting my side. How? Because this fellow says that asat karyam notpadyate. The one who wants to insist that the satkar on the satkaryavada, he will say that I cannot accept the asatkaryavada. So the creation of the karya cannot be from the asat. And those who want to insist on the asatkaryavada, they will refute the satkaryavada. They will say that the creation of the karya cannot be from sat. So Gaudapadacharya says very much, this is very fine. I am saying that there is only Shuddham Brahma. There is no creation at all. And that is what I mentioned by saying that he is talking from the pinnacle of Advaita. He is not talking from Vyavahara Dasha. He is saying that only that Shuddha Brahma Ajatintaihi. Nothing is created, nothing is dissolved, only Brahman is there. So this is a very high level. May not be able to easily understand immediately, but that is what he says. Khyapyamana Ajatintaihi Anumodamehe Vayam. Please totally support that nothing is born, nothing is created or destroyed. Only the Parabrahman is there. Vivadamo, therefore, we have absolutely no debate with them. Why should we fight with them? And that is what Gaudapadacharya says. So when the Gaudapadacharya himself said that, his Prashishya, Shri Shankara Bhagavatpāda says, I have absolutely no dvesha to anybody. But why am I doing, why did first of all Vyasacharya create this Pada then? And why am I doing Bhashya for it? To explain how Vyasacharya refutes all those other Siddhantas. First we have to understand what is the meaning of refuting or doing Nirakarana of the other Siddhantas. The meaning is that See, in all the darshanas, in Shaiva Mata, Vaishnava Mata, and all whatever other matas which are drawing from the Vedic tradition, there will be something definitely that is good. But there are some aspects of that which are not acceptable to the Parama Siddhanta when you are examining all the Upanishads and all that as per the Shastra. So only that aspect needs to be discarded. That is all the meaning of Nirakarana. See, Bhagavatpada, whoever was doing the prachara of the Shaiva Mata during Bhagavatpada's time, whoever was doing the prachara of the Vaishnava Mata during Bhagavatpada's time, they have accepted Bhagavatpada's Siddhanta, Advaita Siddhanta. It's not really Bhagavatpada's new Siddhanta or even Vyasacharya's new Siddhanta. It is the Upanishad Siddhanta. They have accepted that. And Bhagavatpada himself, at the very end of this same Anandagiriya Shankara Vijayam, he himself does the Shaiva Mata Sthapanam and the Vaishnava Mata Sthapanam also. He calls the Shishya who was earlier doing Shaiva Mata Prachara, and he asks him, okay, now you tell me what is in your heart. Then the Shishya quotes Bhagavatpada that he has accepted the Advaita Siddhanta told by Bhagavatpada. He describes all the tattvas which are taught by Bhagavatpada. He says, yes, I accept this entirely, but in my mind, my bhakti is towards Shiva. And likewise, later on, when Bhagavatpada calls the Vishnu Mata Pracharaka, the same thing he says. He quotes the Bhagavatpada Advaita Siddhanta. He says, I accept it entirely, but my devotion is towards Vishnu. Bhagavatpada says there is absolutely no problem. Because earlier we already quoted Advaita Matani Vishtaihi Panchayatanarchanam Prakartavyam Adityam Ambikam Vishnum Gadanatham Maheshwaram. All these Devata Rupas, the Upasana, the Bhakti towards them is a great thing. So only that particular aspect which was the Veda Viruddha was refuted by Bhagavatpada. So Bhagavatpada himself tells these Shishyas, you go and do Shaiva Mata Prachara. And in fact, we can also point out that Bhagavatpada, especially for the Vaishnava Mata, he sent two Shishyas. So there may be some objection that Bhagavatpada is Shiva Avatara. But he sent two Shishyas to do Vaishnava Mata Prachara. And he sent only one Shishya to do Shaiva Mata Prachara. So anyway, the point is that there is absolutely no Veda between Shiva and Vishnu. So that is what Bhagavatpada wants to establish. So the what Dikvijaya, he says, Ashta Dikvartamana Nana Matavadi Vijayam Aravamana. In all the 8 directions, there were so many different people who were doing prachara of their own opinions. And what was the Vijaya of Bhagavatpada is that he refuted what were all the faults in those Siddhantas and brought them together under the Anugraha of the Advaita Siddhanta. And here, the Anandagiri Acharya goes on to give a beautiful list of of a lot of Shishyas. It is not possible to give a list of all the Shishyas because just in the previous chapter he has said Shatai Sahasrai Satcheshri. So thousands, hundreds and thousands of Shishyas were there, but achieve a list of main Shishyas. Normally, when we think of Bhagavatpada Shishyas, we think there are 4 or there are 6. Yes, there are paintings with 4 and there are paintings with 6. There are Shilpas with 4 and Shilpas with 6 Shishyas. But just listen to how many Shishyas, Bhagavatpada's Shishyas that Anandagiriya Acharya mentions. Padmapada, very well known. Why he got the name Padmapada, other Shankara Vijayam describe it. Hastamalaka. He had the tattva as if it was an amalaka in his hand. And Padmapada, whose feet were bound by the lotuses. And another Shishya, a very interesting name, Samitpani. Actually, there is a Shruti Vakya which says that Vijnanartham sa Gurumeva Vigachet Samitpani Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. So, if you want to know the Paratattva, you should necessarily go to a Guru by carrying Samit in your hands. So, why carry Samit in your hands? If it means only a sannyasi Guru, then the sannyasi has no Agnikarya externally. So, he may not have anything to do with the Samit, even if a Shishya brings it. But earlier we see that Vasishtha, Shakti, Parashara, all these were Grihasthas. They were Rishis. They were Grihasthas and they were Brahmajnanis. So in general, for them, a Shishya used to take Samit and it was useful for them for their Anushthanas. So the point is that you have to do something Samarpana towards the Guru and you have to pray to him to give you wisdom. And so it is not clear why this particular Shishya was known by the name of Samitpani. But anyway, his name has been recorded that way. Samitpani, Chitvilasa. And there were also other acharyas in later periods also by the name of Chitvilasa. But there is also another Shankara Vijayam by the name of Chitvilasi Shankara Vijaya. Whether this Chitvilasa and that Chitvilasa are the same or not is a separate question. But he was one of the direct Shishyas of Bhagavatpada. Dhyana Kanta, that was another Shishya. Vishnu Gupta, a person with the name of Vishnu Gupta. Shuddha Kirti, we heard of one Bauddha by the name Dharma Kirti. Here there is a Shuddha Kirti. Bhanu Marichi, who bears the name of the sun ray. Bhanu Marichi. Krishna Darshana, what a beautiful name. And Buddhi Vriddhi, all very meaningful names here. Virinchi Pada, so you have Vishnu, Krishna, and you have even Brahma's name here, Virinchi Pada. And finally he says, Shuddha Anandagiri Pramukhi. What beauty. He mentions his name at the very end of the list. And he says that there are so many other Shishyas also. So he mentions all the other people. It is known that commonly accepted that Padmapadacharya was the first Shishya of Bhagavatpada, but Anandagiri Acharya also mentions his own name. And also this pure soul by name of Anandagiri and so many Shishyas. He Pramukhi, he Shishyavarei, Sevyamanaha, Shri Shankaracharya. So with all these Shishyas surrounding him, Chidambara Sthalat. So here, as I mentioned earlier, he does not go into too much details regarding the stories. He is more interested in the Shastrartha. So here he says that he started from Chidambara. It was not even mentioned that he came to Chidambara and had a darsana of Nataraja, but of course we can infer that starting from Chidambara, Pradakshinena Margena, Madhyarjunan Nama, Shiva Avirbhava Sthala Vishesham Prabha. So there are many places in which Bhagavan Shiva has done Avirbhava, has manifested himself. When he came to the Kshetra called Madhyarjuna, there are 3 Arjuna Kshetras. The Mallikarjuna Kshetra, which is in Andhra, it is there on the Krishna Tira at Sri Shailam, and the Madhyarjuna Kshetra, which is called in Tamil Tiruvidaimarudur in Tamil Nadu on the banks of the Kaveri, and the Uttarjuna Kshetra, which is on the bank of the Tambraparni in southern Tamil Nadu. So the Madhyarjuna Kshetra is in the middle of these 3. So that is another reason for it being called as Madhyarjuna. And he came to that place where Bhagavan Shiva was manifested. And the verse here, Madhyarjuneshanam Adrishtapurvam Vidyadibhiv Pujita Padabhatmam. So commonly we say this is the first time I am coming to this Kshetra. Of course, this is the first time that Bhagavatpada is coming to the Madhyarjuna Kshetra. So Bhagavatpada has the darshana of Bhagavan Madhyarjuna Mahalingeshwara. Bhagavan Mahalingeshwara is described as he whose lotus feet are worshipped by Brahma and others. Buddhya Upacharai Abhajat Paresham. So with his mind, with devotion, he did the upacharas to Bhagavan and worshipped him. Vidhyayatam Moksha Phalaika Moolam. A person who does Nitaram Dhyana, deep meditation of that Mahalingeshwara, he will himself receive the Moksha Phala completely from this Bhagavan only. There is no need to go elsewhere. Eka Moolam, Moksha Phala Eka Moolam. And of course, from the later on passage also we can understand that Bhagavan here, Bhagavatpada, was subjected to by some who were following a Shaiva Siddhanta, where we can't accept what you are Advaita, what you are saying. Then Bhagavatpada, he does prarthana to Bhagavan Parameshwara directly. Tatra kila Bhagavan Shankaracharya Sadashivam evam abravit Swaminne Madhyarjunesha Sarvopanishad Arthosi. O Bhagavan, you are the import of all the Upanishads. Sarvagnosi, you are Sarvagnya, omniscient. Nigamadinam Tatparya Gocharaha Dvaita Nirnayaha Advaita Nirnayova Paramarthikaha. You tell me whether the import, the intent of the Tatparya of all the Shruti Smriti Puranas, whether it is Dvaita or Advaita, which is the absolute truth. Pashyatam Sarvesham Jananam Samshaya Nivrittim Kuru. So this is a very special prarthana. Normally it is not possible for common people to see Bhagavan or to see such adbhutas. Bhagavatpada specifically prays that Bhagavan should give a visible indication that their doubts should be dispelled and what is the Paramasiddhanta should be established. Then evam prarthito madhyarjuneshaha lingagrat savayava rupena nishkramya. Thus, by the prarthana of Bhagavatpada, Madhyarjuneshwara from the top of the linga, savayava rupena. So with all these hands and such physical form, he came out of the linga, Megha Gambhiraya Gira, with a voice that is as deep as the rumbling of clouds. Dakshina Hasta Mudyamya. Now we think that we raise our right hand as a sign of doing pratikya. Bhagavan is who has given this precedent. Dakshina Hasta Mudyamya Satyamadvaitam 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 iti trihi uktva tasminneva linge antartathe. So Bhagavan does pratikya by saying Satyam Advaitam is the absolute truth. He says it 3 times and he disappeared within the linga. So normally, if a person will be able to believe, then it is enough if an appropriate person says even once. But commonly, then somebody will say that I did not hear correctly. No, that is not what he said. This is what he said. Somebody else may claim. So it is commonly accepted that saying thrice, Trishatya hi devaha, saying thrice makes it undoubtable. So Bhashyatam Naranam Mahad Adbhutamasi. So all the people were very surprised by seeing this Pratyaksha Anugraha of Bhagavan, and therefore they accepted that the Advaita Siddhanta which Bhagavatpada said was correct. So Tad Bhaktascha Tadashramastha Marujaha Tad Gramadesha Sthitaha Shuddha Advaita Parayanaha. They accepted the pure Advaita Siddhanta. The people who were there in that ashrama or the matha. Matha means Mathash Chhatradinadeha, a place where such people would stay. When Bhagavatpada came, he would have stayed in some such place. And that Grama Desha, the people of that village and the surrounding areas, Shuddha Advaita Parayana, they accepted Advaita. But another thing, very beautiful, how Anandagiri Acharya is very careful. See his following words, Shruti Katha Sanchodita Acharaka. It is not as if they all immediately accepted Advaita and they left Karmanusthana. We have mentioned this earlier multiple times. They accepted Advaita as the Siddhanta, but today we are not able to realize Advaita. We are not able to realize Advaita. We may accept it intellectually, but experiencing it is a different thing. So, today what we have to do, we have to Shruti Katha Sanchodita Acharaka. We have to follow the Acharas and Rakuttaras. The Shruti Mata, she has told many stories to make us do this. That person did this yajna and he got this fruit. So you also do the yajna. Shruti Mata is telling us children so many such stories to make us do all these anushthanas, and that is very important. So earlier also it was mentioned, those who are interested in Laukika Jivana, let them do all Kamya Karma Anushtanas as well along with Nitya Karma Anushtanas. But those who are wanting the Moksha Phala only, they should leave the Kamya Karma Anushtanas and do Nitya Karma Anushtana for Parameshwara Preeti. It is also mentioned in the next shloka. So that is the current balance which Anandagiri Acharya is beautifully maintaining. Kritva Satgurumeva Shankara Varam Tad Bodhita Prabhava Srimantropajapaha. They accepted Shri Shankara Bhagavatpāda as the Sadguru, the Guru who teaches the Sadvastu. Tad Bodhita Prabhava Sri Mantra Upajapaha. They were performing japa of the mantras whose greatness, the Veda mantras, whose greatness was brought out to them by Shri Shankara Bhagavatpāda. And another beautiful, careful word here, Uva Ganapati Isha Arka Archuta Archa Paraha. Achyuta is mentioned here. Though it was a Shiva Prasiddha Shiva Kshetra, and though the people who were there especially were objecting from the point of Shiva Mata, but Bhagavatpada taught them that you have to do the worship of all the Panchayatana Murtis, including Vishnu. And Pratasnana Vishuddhascha Panchayakya Parayanaha, the Acharya starting from Pratasnana, performing all the Deva Yajna Pitri Yajna which we mentioned earlier, Nitya Karma Prakurvanaha, very clear, Bhagavat Preetaye, for Shri Parameshwara Preetyartham, they do the Nityakarmanushtanas, and through that they are devoid of all their papas. Anaghaha. Evam tat desasthana dvaitavadinaha kritva. Evam tat desasthanavadinaha evam kritva. So those people who are already following the Dvaita Siddhanta, which is Shivapara Dvaita, Dvaita does not mean only a Vishnupara Siddhanta, but even a Shivapara Siddhanta. If it talks about the Veda, then it becomes a Dvaita Siddhanta. Then Bhagavatpāda made them Advaita followers, and Pramathai Shankara, like Bhagavan Parameshwara, followed by all the Pramatha Ganas, Shishya is Sametaha, surrounded by all the Shishyas, Srimad Shankara Bhagavatpāda. Later on, the story goes ahead to Bhagavatpāda going to Rameshwaram, which we will see in the next session. Hara Hara Shankara, Jai Jai Shankara. सर्वव्यापक चैतन्य रूपेण आद्यापि तिष्ठति स एव शंकराचार्यो गुरुर्मुक्तिः सदा.